The NBA has been called a make-or-miss league by many throughout the years, and I think it's true. Players that are capable of creating their own shot and beating out the other team's defense are some of the most valuable in the league today. However, there are times throughout the history of the NBA when shots go in that no one saw coming. So in today's video, we will be taking a look at some of the best unintentional shots ever made in the league. Our first crazy unintentional shot comes from November of the 2015 season. The Pacers were matched up against the Celtics in a close game at Indiana. This was only the 4th or 5th game of the season, so players were still getting into their rhythm. The first half was coming to an end and the Pacers were up 49-43. The Celtics were set to inbound the ball with 1.1 seconds left, which really isn't enough time to get a good shot. So Boston had Jay Crowder throw a full court pass in hopes that one of his teammates could quickly throw up a shot. Crowder winds up and throws a promising looking pass to Jared Sullinger, but to everyone's surprise, the ball ends up going in the hoop. Obviously, this shot didn't count because you can't shoot from out of bounds or when you're inbounding the ball, but it's still a crazy unintentional shot that went in and definitely one of the longest ever. Another one of the best unintentional shots comes from April of 2017. The season was just about to wrap up and the Warriors were playing the Suns in Phoenix. At this point, Golden State had already won 65 games and the Suns were on the opposite end of the spectrum, struggling to get to 22 wins. The shot comes from the first quarter where the Warriors were up by 20 with about 15 seconds left. The reigning MVP, Steph Curry, was looking to ISO rookie Derrick Jones Jr. As Curry tries to get him off balance, Jones knocks the ball out of his hands and the two stumble to get the ball and gain possession. Steph and two Suns defenders are fighting for the ball as the shot clock is ticking under 5 seconds. Eventually, Curry is able to tap a pass to SHAUN Livingston on the 3-point line, and he realizes he has to make a decision quickly as there is now only 3 seconds left to get a shot up. He has never been known as a 3-point shooter, and he sees center JaVale McGee wide open down low, so Livingston attempts to throw him an easy lob. But because he had to get rid of the ball so quickly, SHAUN threw the pass too high and accidentally banked in a 3-pointer. Livingston laughed it off as everyone knew it was an accident, but I think it goes to show how fortunate of a season this team had because later they ended up beating the LeBron-led Cavs in the NBA Finals. The next great unintentional shot was made on Christmas 2015. It was a battle of LA as the Clippers and Lakers were playing each other in the Staples Center. This was the year of Kobe Bryant's farewell tour and the Lakers had a rather weak roster which caused them to only win 17 games. The Clippers on the other hand were still going strong in their final years of the Lob City era, winning 53 games. This was only one season before Chris Paul would be traded to the Houston Rockets in exchange for a bunch of role players and a first-round pick. The game was only about 3 minutes in and the Clippers were up 2 with the ball. CP3 was doing his usual thing, running the show with the ball in his hands. He realized Jordan Clarkson was guarding him and was easily able to create enough separation to shoot a step-back 3. The ball hit the back of the rim, causing a long rebound to bounce out towards the free throw line where Lakers rookie Larry Nance Jr. was waiting. The rebound sailed a little bit over his head, so Nance had to really reach back to collect it, but unfortunately, things didn't go like he planned. Instead of going up for the board with 2 hands, Larry only used 1, which caused him to accidentally launch the ball back towards the rim. With a look of defeat, Nance had scored one of the craziest unintentional shots of all time on his own basket. Lou Williams, who was a guard for the Lakers at the time, looked at the rookie like he was crazy for not going up for the rebound with both hands. This moment sort of summed up how their season went as they couldn't even scrape together 20 wins. This unintentional shot was made in the biggest stage of basketball, the NBA Finals. The year was 2017, and the Cavs were matched up against the Warriors for the 3rd season in a row. Golden State had won it all 2 years prior, and Cleveland took home the Larry O'Brien Trophy in the previous season with their famous comeback down 3-1. In Game 3 of the 2017 NBA Finals, the Cavs found themselves in a hole, down 2-0 with the chances of coming back already looking slim. At this point in the Warriors' dynasty, they had already paired up two top 5 players in the league in Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. Even though LeBron's team didn't seem to be able to keep up with Golden State, James was not slowing down. He was averaging a 30-point triple-double and dropped nearly 40 points in this Game 3 loss. While on his way to recording another historic finals game, LeBron made the best unintentional shot of his career. James was inside the three-point line in the triple threat position with Andre Iguodala closely guarding him. As many know, one of his greatest skills is his court vision and passing. So like always, James was surveying the court and saw a cutting teammate. He attempted to pass a lob over the former finals MVP Iggy to Kevin Love, but instead the ball went right into the hoop. Everything seemed to be working for LeBron this game, as even his mistakes ended well for the Cavs. The next unintentional shot that went in takes us back to early December of the 2011 NBA season. This was a matchup between two of the lesser talented teams at the time, the Wizards and the Timberwolves. Both teams only recorded around 20 wins for the season, and this shot was made by Darko Milicic. For those who don't know, Darko was an international prospect from Serbia who was taken second in the 2003 draft that included LeBron, Wade, Melo, and many other talented players. Unfortunately for the Pistons, Darko did not live up to the hype and has been for a long time in consideration as the biggest NBA bust of all time. And this game was no different, as his unintentional shot went into the wrong basket. There were about 5 minutes left in the first quarter, and the Timberwolves were up 18-12 on the Wizards. A tie-up in the previous possession results in a jump ball with Minnesota on defense. Darko, being the 7-footer that he is, took the jump ball against Al Thornton, who only stood at 6'8". So like many would assume, Darko won the jump ball, but unfortunately, he tipped it so hard that it ended up right on his own rim and dropped in for 2 points for Washington. He stood there for a few seconds, looking defeated, as this night was not going well for him, and neither did the remainder of the Timberwolves season. The last unintentional shot on our list comes from February of the 2011-12 season. In a game featuring the Sixers and the Hawks that was played in Atlanta, Evan Turner hit a shot from 3 that he wasn't even trying to make. Both of these teams saw a little more success than the previous two, winning around 40 games, and the Hawks ended up making the playoffs. The second quarter of this game had just started, and Atlanta was up by 3 points. The Sixers had possession, and Lou Williams passed the ball over to Evan Turner on the 3-point line. He wasn't really known as a 3-point shooter, so no one expected him to take the shot. Instead, he saw a cutting Thaddeus Young and attempted to throw him an alley-oop. However, to everyone's surprise, Turner's pass turned into a very flat 3-point shot that went directly into the basket. He looked confused as to what had happened, and the entire Philadelphia bench was laughing at the young guard because they knew it was an accident. This shot is definitely one of the more known unintentional shots in NBA history that went in. If you feel like there are some crazy unintentional shots that were left off the list, make sure to comment them down below and we could make a part 2 video. As always, thank you for watching, and be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss out on another NBA video.